It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake, Scott, Ben Anderson. The problem with your take there, Christian, is Armpit isn't taking a pay cut. They're just going to fire all the production staff at ESPN. He's not a man of the people. He doesn't give a crap about the people. Anyway, we were arguing.
Fire production. They'll just fire lesser talent.
Christian was saying that Armpit took a shot at ESPN yesterday and was saying he's a man of the people. I was saying, no, he's not.
Well, he got mad that ESPN was not on YouTube. And he said, quit asking. He told the talent at ESPN to quit asking viewers to call in to fix the problem.
Armpit.
Which I think is rightfully so.
You make $20 million a year. They've got to pay for that somehow.
Yeah.
They probably budgeted into your salary the idea that they were going to get increase in rates fees over time. So then Christian said, he's a man of the people. And it's like, yeah, tell that to his cameraman who's going to be looking for a new gig.
Yeah.
Or all the many other talents that ESPN has had to cut over the several years to pay for Screamin' A and Armpit.
Right. Yep.
Anywho. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials, J. Brooks Jewelers. For example, the mouse is going to pay Minnie and Goofy. But if you're Chip and Dale, you're getting the shaft. That's how Disney works.
Oh, boy.
That's what I'm saying. I walked around Disneyland for days. Saw Chip and Dale like 60,000 times. Could I find Elsa? Nope. Anywho.
Did you ever find her?
No. Well, no, it's a longer story than it's worth. It is kind of funny, though. I did go to great attempts to find her, and no, I did not. All right, what's number 1?
We'll go here. Number 1, Raider Dark Lord Cody Campbell joined DJ and PK this morning.
Cody Campbell is the zillionaire. He's also ahead of the Board of Regents, but he's the one, the scuttlebutt was that Texas Tech was swimming in dough, and they went out and got all these players, and that's why they were going to be good. Well, Cody Campbell is the guy who went out and did that. Now, Ben, and we'll catapult into a BYU Texas Tech discussion here, but I do want to take something back.
Okay.
My entire take that got me in trouble with the Raider fans was about how the bozo leadership at Texas Tech would somehow find a way to screw it up.
Correct.
This Cody Campbell guy is no bozo.
Yeah.
And go listen to this interview for a variety of reasons. He was really, really good. First of all, he was a lineman who played there under Mike Leach, which I guess I kind of knew. But I should have known that a former lineman was going to dump a bunch of dough into the offensive and defensive lines.
Yeah, he's going to win, not at the skill positions, but in the trenches.
And I thought the Raiders would try and tickle their way to a conference championship as usual and fail miserably. That's not what this guy did. In fact, PK told, and I didn't know this, that some Raider fan last year texted or tweeted at Cody Campbell and said, dude, you got to go buy us a line. Yeah. And his response was, will do.
Yeah, consider it done.
And that's exactly what he did. But the point that he's not a bozo, I think, is the most important because of what he's trying to do overall in college athletics, which is bring some sort of organization to the chaos. And part of his reason for donating so much to the Raiders is to kind of prove a point that, like, we got to do something about this. But anyway, Ben, he went on a long screed about how this current system is not good for student athletes. And is not good for the people participating in it. And he articulated it so well. I mean, I have the same feelings, but he really put it out there so well. And he struck me as a guy that had a good head on his shoulders and actually cares about young people, which beware the people that say that, because sometimes that doesn't turn out to be true. But what he was saying really rang true to me. And he talked about defending women's sports at great length and other non-revenue sports, and specifically defending the experience of the student athlete because it benefits you in life. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is a breath of fresh air. So I take back my bozo comment about the Raiders, because if Cody Campbell's in charge, that dude's no bozo. And in retrospect, I should be not surprised that the Raiders are as good as they are.
He He started his business while he was in college. This isn't a Dolan situation where he inherited a bunch of his dad's money and then just decided to go play with it somewhere, and it was just at the college he went to. That's not the case. He really built this business, so he's spending his own money on building this team up. And you're right, having played there, I think gives him some idea of what does and does not win on the football field, and probably where Texas Tech has been weak in the past. They've always had skill players. Again, you go back and look who we drafted last year or yesterday in What You Got Wednesday. None of us took a defensive lineman. None of us took an offensive lineman. We took quarterbacks, right? Wide receivers.
Yep.
You took a linebacker. That's a problem. You got to have good players in the trenches, and that's where I do think this game is going to be decided. Coming up against BYU on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I'm very excited to watch this game. My schedule is completely clear, so I'm going to hang out and throw it on. But, that's going to be the battle. Can Texas Tech's defensive line do to BYU what it did to Utah?
And actually, Cody said that because DJ and PK asked him for his keys to the game, and he talked about just that subject. And I think he's totally right on the money. If BYU can neutralize the defensive line for the Raiders, then it might be a pretty good day for the Cougs. If they're able to stop the Raiders up front, it might be a good day for the Cougs, and vice versa. But interesting that. The other interesting thing, Ben, I thought was he talked to Mike Leach all the way through Mike's career after he paid or after he left. And I'm sure he heard Mike complain about what doesn't work at Texas Tech because he did that often and he did that publicly. And maybe Cody's saying, what's that meme you love from the stupid Tom Hanks movie? I'm the captain now?
Yeah.
What is that, Captain Carl?
Captain Carl. Captain Phillips? Is that what it's called?
Which apparently was a gross misrepresentation of what actually happened.
Yeah, it's Hollywood.
No, but apparently Captain Phillips was super reckless and
he
somewhere
went
that he was not
went
supposed to be.
He was not supposed
The
to
whole
be
thing
in.
was his fault.
And he was taking a shortcut or something
Yeah,
like that.
Don't go in there. Pirates are going to be there. The Pirates got him. He's like, well, this is a pickle.
And somehow Hollywood was like, that man is
got
the
ourselves a hero.
That's a hero right there.
So I'm excited for this game. I will be curious. And he's a single-digit billionaire, which is still an absurd amount of money, and you can probably do whatever you want to. But I will be curious if we end up, and maybe Saturday's game is the determining factor, or maybe it's the conference championship game, which, as I've said several times, I still think is going to be BYU and Texas Tech. If BYU and Texas Tech are, until we try and slow this thing down, and maybe we never do, if the outcome of this game and the conference championship game just turns into a spending contest between these two schools, because they have
they have the most resources,
tools and resources that nobody else in the conference really has. So if they want to and run away with this thing, they probably can.
What's interesting, though, I don't think Cody Campbell actually wants that.
I hope not. But I don't know. Guy loses. Guy invests a little bit of money and they lose. He says, well, what's a little more money?
Well, the problem is I don't see him being successful, one.
In what way?
I don't see him bringing calm to the chaos. They talked all about.
Okay. I thought you were talking about at Texas Tech.
No.
I think
I'm
he's
sorry.
already
I didn't
been
mean
very
to,
successful.
No. I don't mean to completely change the conversation. But he talked about legislation and how they need Congress to act, and that they have to. You and I have both talked about how this clearinghouse thing is stupid and it's not going to fix anything, and these NIL resource schools are going to continue to have the ultimate advantage. I don't see him fixing that. I think he'd like to.
Sure.
But the other thing he said, did you know that 182 programs have already been eliminated countrywide? Like sports.
Sports. Yeah.
Sports programs.
Yeah.
That was an alarming number to me.
It's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of scholarships.
And it ain't football and basketball they're canceling.
No. It's kids who really are using athletics to get an education.
What a novel concept.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want those guys getting it.
Not for us.
All right, what's next?
Number 2, question. How many picks will Bo throw tonight? Answer, not as many as Gino.
That's not how it was written.
How was it written?
How many picks will Bo throw tonight?
Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book.
I know. That's why it was a great headline, and Christian just ruined it.
Thursday night football.
3, maybe 4. That's how the
Raiders.
Raiders. That's how the Raiders win. 4 picks.
And Gino will throw 4, maybe 5.
Gino had a good game last week, didn't he?
I don't care.
Christian, I am curious, what is a successful season now for the Denver Broncos, considering that they are atop the AFC West, They are probably the best team in the AFC West, though I still think you have to beat the Chiefs if the Chiefs can make to the playoffs.
The Chiefs are better than the Donks. Stop it.
I think the Chiefs will always be a threat, right? Last year, the Broncos made the playoffs. This year, you got to win a playoff game and then go from there.
So just win a playoff game.
Yeah, I don't think that the 7-2 record right now changes anything as far as expectations.
You're not playing the hand you're dealt. You're still going off of what you expected before the season.
Right.
All right.
And I do understand, like, obviously, Bo Nix in this offense have limitations. I think winning a playoff game would be a good start.
They've had to have some freaking miracles to have the record that they've got. They are not the best team in the AFC
Well,
West.
I mean, that was the entire Chiefs.
I cannot even believe I just heard that.
That was the entire Chiefs season last year and why they ended up getting shelled by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. But, yeah.
Also,
you got to win close games.
their 2 losses are on last-second field goals. But, again, like, I'm not going to act like the Broncos are better than the Chiefs in any way. They haven't played yet, so.
Well, okay, who's the best team in the AFC right now? Because I'll just read you the divisional leaders. The Patriots at 7-2, the Steelers at 5-3, the Colts at 7-2, and the Broncos at 7-2.
Okay, real quick before I answer that.
Now, there is another team out there that only has 2 losses.
All right. Before I answer that, let me read you the current standings in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. Number 1, the Chicago Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, the Detroit Pistons, followed by the Knicks and the Cavs and the Bucks and the Sixers. So you just read off the conference leaders halfway through the year.
Yeah, 8 games in.
Uh-huh. The Bulls aren't the best team in the East. I hate to break it to you.
No, but that's
not
2
going to.
weeks into the season.
I know.
If by the All-Star game, the Bulls are, tied for the number 1 seed in the East, that doesn't mean they're the best team in the East, but they're making a run for something.
The Bills and the Chiefs are still the best team in the AFC, and it's not particularly close.
Okay.
So I don't care who's leading. Those 2 teams are the best team in the AFC, and probably the best team in the NFL if you're not a believer in the Eagles still.
Still should be the Bills as the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, or the Chiefs, either way. Yeah.
The
The
Bills just beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, they did. Here's the NFC. Who's the best team here? Eagles are 6-2. Packers are 5-2. Buccaneers are 6-2. And the Seahawks are 6-2, as are the Rams.
Well, you're in love with Baker, so I'm sure you'll say Tampa. I'd still say Philly, and if I had to pick a second, probably the Rams.
Might be the Lions. And the Lions aren't in that conversation.
The Lions have been kind of disappointing.
They've been up and down. They had a really slow start to the year, and they did just lose their last game.
And the Packers just punched themselves in the face to lose to the Panthers at home? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I love Jordan Love, but I'm not ready to go there yet.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's a clear super team right now in the NFL. There's a lot of parity right now, which is what is fun about the NFL. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to make it this year.
I think the Jets are going to make a comeback.
You like the Jets? You like what the Jets did at the trade deadline?
1-7, but I think they'll probably be above 500 by the end of the year.
be amazing to trade Sauce and is it Quinnen Williams and bounce back.
Well, those guys were the problem.
Yeah, bad attitude. Guys.
Those guys were the problem.
Locker room cancer.
And now it's going to be fixed.
Next.
Well, if the Titans can win a game, anything's possible.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3, in case you missed it, Walker Kessler is out for the rest of the season.
So there are 2, and there are a lot of ways to look at this, but I'll lay out a couple of scenarios. One, this just stinks. Walker is in a contract year. The Jazz were going to let Walker bet on himself. They were willing to go to restricted free agency because teams don't throw huge money at restricted free agents anymore unless they're obvious kind of max or near max guys. And then a team says, well, maybe if we overpay a couple of million, they'll be worth the max and the team won't match it. But really, that doesn't happen very often. You get to restricted free agency, and because the team can match whatever offer is out there, teams just don't throw that much money, and the Jazz aren't trying to lowball Walker, but they're not trying to pay any more than they have to. In a sense, him being out for the rest of the season allows the Jazz to do exactly that. He's not going to get a $200 million offer now. He's probably not going to get a $160 million offer now. Does he get $120? Maybe. That's $30 million a year over 4 years, which is a ton of money, and probably what Walker could have extended for this summer, and the Jazz just wanted to see, let's see what happens. Let's not lock up extra cap space because you're only dinged for 3 times his current salary as a restricted free agent next year until you actually pay him the money. So they didn't have to pay him the money until a team offers a contract or until they've done all their free agency work next summer. So there was really no advantage to signing him early. And now that he's gotten hurt, you didn't overpay him. And you don't know what his market's going to be.
Except now they're going to lowball him because he's hurt, and it's going to inspire negative feelings. I know the Jazz front office disagrees. I think you do too, but I think it was a mistake not to extend him. I've seen the Jazz mess with this stuff before, and it's bit them. And you can say it rarely happens that the Jazz, restricted free agents get deals. Well, there are two from recent memory for the Jazz that happened, Wes Matthews and Paul Millsap. Mm-hmm. And you could argue that both turned out badly, even
Gordon
though
Hayward as well.
Paul stayed. And then, of course, that's the ultimate example of where you hurt somebody's feelings in a contract dispute, and they're going to figure out a way to stick it to you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. How much money did you say the flexibility is at the end of the year?
You go from $5 million. Or so let's say he was going to sign for $25 million. The Jazz have a quote unquote cap hold, which just means it's a placeholder in the salary in your free agency space that you can't spend, worth about $14 million. So it's about $9 to $10 million bucks of extra cap space.
Is that worth hurting the feelings of somebody that you want to be a key component of what you're building? Or at very least happy enough to stay with you until you trade them?
If I had to bet on it, are the Jazz going to use that $9 million to their advantage this summer? Probably not. So
was it worth it?
So yeah, that's the big question. You want to maintain flexibility because the league is changing so quickly and free agency changes so quickly and the value of trades changes rapidly. So the Jazz wanted to maintain that type of flexibility without committing to anything long term. I don't know. Does it end up mattering? Probably not.
Can I lay a scenario out for you? Let's say you were negotiating with Maddie on your deal. Mm-hmm. And you said, Maddie, I'm worth $500K a year. Mm-hmm. And
pay cut?
And she said, Ben, I think you're worth $300K a year. And you're like, seriously, dude, I'm rocking this website. Are you kidding? I'm cranking in the dough. I'm awesome. I'm the future. I'm worth $500,000 a year. And then let's say during your break, let's come back tomorrow. You break 3 fingers in a skateboarding accident. Mm-hmm. And Maddie's like, well, guess who's taking $300K now?
Yeah.
Because your typing ability is significantly altered for the short period of time. Mm-hmm. So guess who's not getting the $500K that they wanted? You would come out of that meeting like...
Yeah, I lost
Would you come out of that meeting?
No,
would you come out of that meeting and go, well, you're right.
Yeah, no,
I'm
absolutely.
not worth all
Very
that.
frustrated.
And you would come out of it and you'd say, not only am I frustrated, but I'm holding it against you because you're lowballing me at my lowest time when I'm hurt. There's no way that you're... I mean, let me put it this way. Some bridges would have to be seriously mended if you were going to get everybody back on the same page again. That's why this is all delicate. That's why is it really worth it to... What did you say? They let Walker bet on himself? They made Walker bet on himself.
They did. I don't even think they offered him any type of deal. I don't think they even lowballed him. They just didn't give him an offer. I don't know that for sure, but it doesn't sound like there was an offer made.
I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much of it, but I've seen it. I've seen it happen with the Jazz. And it's bad. It never works out well.
It's not like Walker doesn't have alternative routes if he wants to take them. Walker this summer, if he says, hey, I'm worth 130, you're only offering me 80 or 100 now. I know I'm worth an extra $30 million, and I'm actually going to hurt myself if I sign this contract with you for 4 years and $100 million. I'm going to sign what they call a qualifying offer.
1 year and I'm out.
Which means I'm an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2027, and I think if I play a lot, I'm going to sign a $200 million deal. It would be stupid for me to sign for $100 million.
Yeah.
That's the risk. That is the gamble the Jazz are playing. I will say 2 things here. The other aspect of this I'm curious about is, did the Jazz plan on trading Walker Kessler this year, which is no longer an option? Were they hoping to flip him at a $4 million contract with use of Nurkic's deal or whatever to get up to $23 million to take somebody else back that was better or bigger because somebody wanted Walker Kessler?
Right.
The name that had been out there consistently in these rumors was Austin Reeves. Well, that is off the table, A, because Austin Reeves is playing out of his mind, and B, because Walker's now hurt. That's a question I have for the Jazz. What it does do, though, is I think it makes the season a lot easier of just saying, hey, this is another tanking year, quote unquote. You don't have to tank now. You just don't have the talent on the floor. You already lost 3 of your 6 best players from last season in trades with Collins, Sexton, and Jordan Clarkson, and now you've lost Walker. So you're down probably 4 of your 6 best players from last season. You can't win games. Certainly not at the level you want to if you were going to try and, quote unquote, be competitive to make a run at the play-in tournament, which I never thought was particularly realistic. But our conversation of best case scenario, Jazz maybe get to 35 wins if they really put the pedal to the metal, probably doesn't exist anymore.
Oh no, they're a worse team today than they were yesterday
By
for sure.
a lot.
By why? Yeah, he's good. That's my point.
And he's really hard to replace.
What's the point in dinking around with this stuff? Just sign him to the deal. It's not worth it. On these rookie extensions, it's just not worth it.
Well, I guess the other question is, are we positive the Jazz think he's that good?
No, obviously not.
Yeah.
They would have signed him if they thought he was that good.
I totally agree. If there was no doubt that he was going to be the starting center of the future and they were happy to pay him $30 million a year, I don't think they would have messed with it.
But see, that feels very un-Danny Ainge to me, and I realize Austin was part of this, but Danny's kind of the lock it up and trade him guy. He's not the let him go for nothing guy. In fact, he said that. That's bad to let him go for nothing. It was the whole reason they held on to Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson so long.
Yeah. Too long, but yeah.
And John Collins, because we're not going to let him walk for free, which I can buy that logic. But if you don't believe he's the guy, sign him long-term and trade him to the Lakers. It doesn't hurt at all.
No, it's a really...
I don't get it.
If you just like the behind-the-scenes aspect of basketball, this is a really interesting situation now.
Yeah.
This got really fascinating.
And he said he was frustrated at Media Day. That's notable.
Yeah, he's going to be frustrated now. He's going to be more frustrated now.
Way worse. Yeah. All right, stay tuned. More next. Jacob Ed, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.